Okay, little unboxing here. Just received a shipment in from Marvy, USA. They're based out of Japan, but there's the USA division. And I'll show you what we got here. Most of this order is going out to a customer in an international location. But a lot of these types of things they can't find. They're hard enough to find domestically here, but they're really hard to find internationally then. And it's because a lot of these inks, Marvy was really well known for their brush markers years ago, okay? And everyone used them. This is pre-dye-based ink pads, okay? And everyone used these Marvys to color their stamps and to stamp them out, okay? No raised dye-based pads, because what happened was inks, in a standard fabric pad, if you fill them up with ink and these pads were raised, it would run out of the pad and, it would be, drained all out here, where the pad was raised. So companies started coming out with... Marvy came out with a very dense foam version of the pad, so the inks will never run unless you over-ink it or something like that. And other companies just came out with kind of a thicker version of an ink, typical ink, so that the viscosity was like much thicker and it wouldn't run. Okay, so back to Marvy. So Marvy has their hands in a lot of different things. I don't know if they're just crafts or whatever, if there's some kind of gigantic parent company, but they came out with their pads a little bit later, or a little bit after. A lot of other companies started coming out with pads, and they were fantastic pads with this color-coded, I don't know, whatever you call it, indexing or whatever identification, and those colors were really close to the inks that were in the pads. And the ink quality for their pens, they call those Marvy Matchables. The ink quality of these are really amazing, and they're the brightest, I think, by far in the industry as far as the saturation and tone goes. Just really, saturated and rich, okay? So that being said, I like to use mine in in combination with other brands of inks. I go into the Marvys, the Rangers, and whatnot. I don't want everything so electric hot, So if you're doing like a sunset, or if I'm stamping out grass or something, like, I don't want my grass to be that so electric bright. I think it looks okay, but it's a little bit better if it's a little bit muted and kind of more earthy in many cases. But if you want those really, intense pops of colors, Marvy's a good ink to look into. Okay, so that being said, they discontinued the pads a while back. Okay, Marvy would have to order 10,000 of each one of these types of pads, for one order, and pads have a shelf life. Okay, now that's a shelf life for them to sell it to stores or to the consumer. Okay, they're not going to leave these up on the shelf for 5 years and then sell them because they're worried about them drying out. I don't think they're going to dry out. I've had some pads that I've had in storage for 8 years, and they were never brand new. I was using them for my workshops and things like that, and demos and make and takes and whatnot, and they were still juicy. But, Marvy is a responsible company, and they don't want them sitting on the shelves for a certain amount of time. Therefore, they discontinued those pads, but someone talked them in, I have a feeling it was Judykins or something like that, talked them into the uninked pad, okay? So these blanks here, you can just kind of ink them up with whatever color you want. Alright, so I thought I would do that. So here's a bunch of these uninked pads right here that I bought for someone that's kind of equipping themselves with a lot of different, a nice range of those Marvy colors, and they want them in pad form as well. Now, it's really convenient to have all your colors in pad form. You just open them up and they're ready to go. Now, for some of these uninked ones, I'm probably going to have to do some color indexing, and I'll probably use some of the color that's used on here on some sticker paper, and I think I'll just put it on the side with maybe in this case, you can't see it here, but this is a number 25 bottle green, okay? I don't know, these used to travel with me all over the place. Okay, Not all of these are going out. I bought some for myself because I needed to re-equip myself with several different types of pads, or colors of pads. So this one right here, this is my bottle green right here. And you can see the pad, let me see if you can see. I don't know if you can tell here, it's really dark, but the pad is really kind of broken down. This pad's probably 20 years old for all I know. But can you see that where it's kind of indented? It's no longer flat. Okay, it's kind of given in the foam is kind of breaking down. So whenever I've been I haven't been using this to, ink up stamps or anything like that, but I've been using it just to dip my stylus tool in and to use it. And then recently I've been using a palette like something like this and just, pouring some color in there, taking my stylus tool or whatever sponge applicator and just applying it to the scenes. But this is a color that if I had a decent pad still, okay, I would utilize that still to use on my impressions. So again, if you don't need a certain color, the color, a certain color is one that you only use to, sponge color in whatever your artwork or whatever, then maybe you don't need the pad unless it's just for convenience, okay? But if you're going to be making impressions out of it, you can't just use a re-inker bottle and, apply it directly onto the, the stamp or something like that unless you're going for some kind of special effect. Okay, now this is the first time I've done this, so I'm not really quite sure how much initial inking this pad is going to take, but let's take a look here. Now, I wish I could see through this bottle, so I'm not really going to be able to tell, so maybe we can count it out or something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, that's 20 drops right there. Now, that's not going to be nearly enough, of course, so let's go for another 20. Okay, that's 40 drops there. And I'm just kind of looking on the sides here to see how much it's penetrated this pad. And I think we're going to have to, it's probably going to be, I don't know, triple that. I'm guessing it's going to be at least a third of the bottle. And I wish I could see it. No, I think I can see it. I think it's right about here. But once I go, more, it's going to be hard to say. Okay, let me stop counting. I'm just going to just keep doing this until I see kind of a full penetration of that pad. I'm guessing it's about, I don't know, maybe a little over a 1/4 inch, but that's the part that's sticking out, so it's embedded into this pad a little bit. So it's probably about a 1/4 inch foam right there. And like I said, these really hold quite a bit of ink. Okay, now here's the thing. All right, do you see that? Where is all that ink going? Look at that. I mean, it might be deeper in the center there, but I'm not quite sure. But I have a feeling it's been like that. All right, let's keep going. Who knows? Maybe it takes a half an inker. I don't know. But don't. Here's what I was getting at. Don't over ink, okay? Because if you're using something with a lot of tight detail, this would be a perfect example of that. If you're inking this up, okay, I don't know if I'd use green, but you could. If it's over inked, it would tend to puddle up in the details here, okay? And then when you stamp it out, it's just not giving you as crisp an impression as, probably would be ideal, all right? So, kind of just ink accordingly. Okay, now, here's what I do on all of my pads. Whenever it starts to get really, I need to replace this number 72 pine green as well, but anytime this goes, a pad goes dry on me, what I do is I just re-ink it with a few drops or something like that, just to make it, I like it about a little bit past what I think would be a medium dampness, or, reservoir. I don't know what you call it. A medium, I don't know, dampness, for lack of a better word. Okay, let me see where this is right here. I don't know how much I used. I probably used a third of a bottle, I'm guessing. Okay, let's see. Well, let's just go for this tree here. All right, I don't know if that's a good idea. I have a Versafine on this one, the black Versafine. I don't think there's anything on my pine tree right here. Let's go for this. All right. Let me take a look here. It's pretty juicy. I maybe over-inked it. Maybe ink up less. Okay, let's see here. This might need to settle too. You know, it's probably still, you know, through kind of capillary action, you know, absorbing, or I don't know, dispersing, whatever, soaking up that that ink in there. Okay, let's go again. I don't think this is the bottle green either. I think this is green. All right, this will be my green pad then. I'll have to put. This is a number 4 green. I thought it was much darker. It looks really dark in this bottle, but that's a number 4 green. It's just their basic green. It's just called green. Okay, now with each impression, it seems like it's getting a little bit clear for me. I think the ink's absorbing into this. Yeah. You see that first one right there? It's a little bit kind of blotchier. I mean, it's okay. But, and that one looks a little bit more clear. I think I might have had some darker ink on this too. And, you know, when I inked it up, it kind of went back into solution and made it that way. But anyways, those look pretty good. I would use a little bit less ink in the future then. So I guess, I don't know. Don't worry about that edge being, you know, from top to bottom filled with ink. Just add, I don't know, whatever amount on there, and then kind of, I would let it sit overnight before using it. I think then that ink wouldn't be so kind of concentrated on the surface right there, and it'd have a chance to soak in. But anyways, yeah, there's my number 4 there. I don't even know if I needed, well, maybe I did need a number 4. I don't even see it there. Maybe mine kind of dissolved or whatever, and I don't know, I tossed it out, so, or is that it right there? Sometimes I can't tell the difference between them. Yeah, that is a number 4 there. Let's see. Yeah, that one was perfect, so maybe I didn't need it. If I find the bottle green, though, one of the things I can do is I can just add it to this one, and it'll be some kind of fusion in between bottle green and that green, but I don't know, the darker one would kind of dominate it. But anyways, the re-inking of a new uninked Marvy pad right there, let it, you know, apply it in little at a time, let it soak in, then it should be ready to go. But then, you know, I'm glad they have these available because these inks are really fantastic and gives, you know, they can give you that kind of that, you know, real kind of punch in terms of intensity where you want it. So good stuff. And anyways, the rest of those pads in there, or a lot of them, are going to be headed on their way around the world to their final destination, and I hope that customer enjoys those inks as much as I do. Okay, so thanks for watching. If you have any questions, drop me a note in the comment section, although I'm not going to know too much about the re-inking process there, but other than what I just did, but I don't know, they look pretty good. And by the way, these pads that are kind of dissolving on me and whatnot, like I said before, these pads are, I wouldn't be surprised if they are over 20 years old. And I can tell on some of them because, see this golden kind of stamped top, you know, foil or whatever pad on, you know, indexing right here? That was long since replaced with this sticker that they started to use. You know, so this sticker on here was probably, I don't know how many years ago, 10 maybe, or at least. So these ones came about much, much earlier. So, and I've used these like crazy, and they've gone around to workshops and demonstrations and conventions and used time and time again by everyone. So, you know, when you're talking about a 20-year lifespan of some kind of existing medium, you know, I'll take it, you know, that type of quality any day. All right, so anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning into the Stampscapes channel.